Hello and welcome to this fantastic new video I made for you. It's a very interesting subject, like properties being sold on full check, no black, nothing involved. So I'm shooting this from Johannesburg, South Africa right now. I'm here for some work related stuff. Uh, and I've been studying the market here also, and I was very surprised to find out there are no black money deals here as such. I mean, at least these people say there's nothing. I thought it is going to be worse than India, Asia, and all that, because it's Africa. Beautiful place, by the way. Very cheap real estate. I would, I'm very tempted to come and settle down here, but I won't. India is so much better in terms of what's coming in the future. And cutting a long story short, this video is about full check deals. So there's a lot of questions, a lot of confusions about full check, if such deals can exist or happen. They do happen, by the way, and I actually specialize, so let me take you to that. All right, so let's look at the history of deals, like the full check deals, black money deals, whatever it is. So in the past, like most of the transactions for buying and selling property was way of black money, unaccounted, basically cash. And that was a majority of the amount. I've heard it was 10, 20, 30% check, and the rest used to be cash or whatever. But there have been many, many reforms by the government, and it has been curbed to a great extent. A lot of properties are now sold in full check, especially by the bigger builders like DLF, M3M, and so many builders. They sell in full check and they welcome full check. There's no problem. They don't want black money. And even in South Delhi, if you look at colonies like Panchil Park, Vasant Vihar, Jor Bagh, and even a new French colony, Marhani Bagh, all of these areas which come in category A, mostly the deals are full check, or sometimes you have to pay the stamp duty on even a higher amount. So there is no question you have to give full check. But a lot of deals happen in full check. I've done plenty and I specialize, and there is no scarcity of such things. Anyways, so this is not an advertisement about me, by the way. I'm just giving you data. Let's come to the present day. So that was history. There was too much cash involved. But even today, there are transactions in which there is cash involved, and there are properties being sold all over India where there are, say, 50, 60, 70% check, and the rest is by the way of cash. Or so I've heard. I am not involved in those deals, but this is what I've heard. And there are these Benami properties also. You keep reading in the newspapers, the government is targeting them. So they're basically all based on black money. But in the society, it is socially acceptable. In India and other countries like maybe Pakistan and Asia in general. I think China also, I heard, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, all of our neighbors. So, I mean, if you're sitting in a party and you say, I give this much check, that much cash, nobody thinks any less of you. But in the West, say in the US or even in South Africa, if you told someone that, I don't declare my income so much, or I don't declare it at all, they will look at you as if you are a criminal, The laws are also very super strong. They can put you in jail straight away and whatnot. This is what I heard. And I'm sure they're telling me the truth. But it is not socially acceptable is the point. So any time something becomes socially acceptable, things, increase. Like if it is socially acceptable to drink alcohol, then so many people start drinking alcohol because, But if it is socially not acceptable to, say, do cocaine, so it is harder to do cocaine. You get my point, right? I mean, if everybody in your family says smoking, you cannot smoke. It's just so bad. Smoking is the worst thing. So chances are most people will not be smoking, or they will have a pressure not to do it, at least in front of them. So they'll do it less. Anyways, so what is the problem? Why don't just people do deals in full check? So these are the problems. The seller has a particular problem that if you give him, say he's doing a deal worth 10 crore, and instead of receiving 7 crores, he takes 10 crores, So on that additional 3 crores or 4 crores, whatever he took, he has to pay taxes. Yeah. He doesn't have to pay the stamp duty because the buyer pays the stamp duty. But for him, it is a problem because he has to pay the capital gain. But this is a very low tax. I mean, the long-term capital gain is like 20%. If you buy a property, you sell it after 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, you got to pay only, say, on the profit part of it also. Say you bought it for 5 crores and you're selling it for 7 crores. You only pay the tax on those 2 crores. But the tax is also like 20%. It's not so much. You're already paying 30% on your income. So this is cheaper, and that can be reduced to zero if you reinvest that property into that additional profit. You invest that into another residential property. The tax can be zero. So it is a more, it is a better way. It's a better way than your income, at least, to make this money and pay very less tax. Even if you want to pay 20%, it can be zero. It's a very good scheme, I would say. I mean, just you can have income without, or you can have profits without paying taxes, and this is legal. The government provides for it, so there is no problem. But he feels, okay, I might have to pay too many capital gains compared to if he took everything in cash. Then he would not pay any tax because it will not be disclosed. So he feels, compared to that, I might have to pay capital gains. And the next problem is that, okay, so he takes the 10 crores in check. Now it's sitting in his account, and he goes and talks to a seller, and the seller may say, no, I want cash because I don't want to pay my taxes, or I need the cash also to pay ahead, so I need cash from you. So that becomes a problem. Plus, it is also a problem that now the next property, if you also buy in full check, you will have to pay higher stamp duty. So one is, you may not find a seller, you might have to pay higher stamp duty. And then the buyer will say, okay, you want full check, so you reduce the price. There is some truth to it, that you might have to tweak the price, but it's worth it because you're making so much money and paying actually zero tax. Okay, now let's come to the buyer. So seller had these problems, that capital gain, now he'll have to pay, he'll have to find another seller to sell him a property, or he'll have to pay higher stamp duty in the next property he buys, or the buyer might pay less. So these are seller problems. Now look at buyer problems, are also very similar. Now buyer has to pay higher stamp duty because, say, if the buyer was to buy on, say, a 10 crore property for 5 crores on the record, then he will only have to pay the stamp duty on 5 crores. Now he has to pay on 10 crores. So that on 5 crores, say if he's paying 7%, it's like 35 lakh. It's not a small amount, so that becomes a lot. Agreed. So he will have to pay a higher stamp duty. And then he has to find a seller also who's looking for a full check, or who's willing to take full check. Sometimes the sellers will say, oh, you want to pay full check, then you pay me a little more because I'll have to pay my taxes out of this money. I didn't want the full check, you wanted the full check. So this becomes a problem. And also the buyer may feel that, my money is expensive because if he made 15 crores, then he got 10 crores out of it. The rest went as tax. So these 10 crores are worth 15 crores in his mind. He might think like that, and that could be a problem. Okay, agreed. And what if he has a lot of cash because he sold a property and nobody paid him check, and he had to take the cash? What does he do with that? Yeah, so he has to get rid of it. And this is the main reason why real estate also keeps churning, because people buy and sell because they want to get rid of the cash. All right. But if you look at the problems, the seller problem, the buyer, they're very similar. If you can find a seller who wants full check, if you can find a buyer who wants full check, you both can enter into a pretty sweet deal. So that's a big opportunity. Buyer can't find seller, seller can't find buyer. You just have to do the right matchmaking. Maybe come to me or a person like me who specializes in this, and he can find you the right combination, and that would be fine. Both parties will benefit, and it is super simple. You don't have to hide anything. You don't have to do anything illegal. Just you write on the papers, okay, this is what we are selling at, this is what we are buying at, you pay everything via check or a bank transfer. It's just so simple. The money comes into your account. Feels so good. So what if it's a little expensive? I mean, there is. What if you were caught with that cash and you got into legal problems? So the major stop that you will find when you try to do such deals, the people who are actually active in the market will tell you it is not possible. Full check में कौन बेचता है? Full check में कौन खरीदेगा आपसे? Buyer नहीं मिलते. Okay, so there is lesser amount of people who would have 100% check. I agree. But there are so many people. I mean, all the good deals, the good level deals, if you look at, they're all happening in full check. Or at least this is how it seems to me, because I end up doing all of them full check. It is possible, 100% possible. Don't think it is impossible. If anybody says that, change that person. Now, the sellers will have to tweak the pricing a little bit. For example, if there are deals in the market selling for 30 crores and those buyers are taking 50-50 payment, as they say, 50% check, 50% cash, and you want 100% check, you might have to give a little bit of a discount. Look, those properties are selling at a higher price also because somebody has a problem that he has that black money that he wants to get rid of, and he's paying extra for that maybe, So you tweak your price a little bit, you get all of your money in white, reinvest it, pay zero tax. Simple. You don't have to hide anything. It improves your books, your capital gets increased. If, say, you want to do some business, take a loan or something tomorrow, just think if you get into trouble, with agencies, your whole family gets into trouble and you get a bad name. And for what? Just a few percentage points here and there. Now, it can take longer if you're looking to buy or if you're looking to sell in full check. It can take a little longer, but that's fine. But I'm telling you, the crowd which comes to buy or sell only in full check, they're generally more ethical, straight people to deal with, and then there is no risk of being caught or anything. I think it's definitely worth it. If you need any help in that, if you need any advice on that, you can always write to me, comment on the videos. Do subscribe and share this video with others. I'm really going out on a limb making such a video because this is a very hush-hush topic. Everybody wants to be very quiet about it. But it's a reality of the market. Anyways, I hope you have a great time, and I'm going to enjoy my Johannesburg a little more and maybe make some more videos while I have time. Thank you.